Aloha, friends and family. It's so beautiful out here. The vibration is perfect. The frequency is high. What are they trying to do to you, us, in the Matrix? Currently, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make you afraid. They're trying to make you fear. And they didn't just throw one thing at you, they're throwing a bunch of things at you. And it's working for some people. And I would say it's even working for people that think they're awake, because you see in their fear, they're running back to their beliefs. They're running back to their beliefs out of fear. Now, if they were truly awakened, truly awake, because in their fear they might say, we gotta just pray to God. We gotta pray to God. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds right. But then they go further and they descend into their beliefs of who and what God is. And then here's where the disaster happens. Because now they're back to the deities. Now they're back to the guilt and the fear that predicates all those beliefs, all of humans' beliefs when it comes to God, wrapped up in mythology and things they've told us. It's all predicated on fear. Because if you're awake, you know something's way off when they try to tell you God needed to kill his only son. Wait a minute. Wait a second. You're trying to tell me that the Creator needed to kill something? That's counter creative. That's opposite of creating. That's destroying. But they get you to believe it because they convince you, because you're so messed up, you're so flawed, you're so imperfect, that you better accept this, or you're being, excuse me while I take off my jacket here. You have to accept that belief, or else you're being a heretic, or you're being arrogant. But see, it's arrogant to think that you could reduce the Creator to a deity and then wrap that deity up in a bunch of stories or mythology predicated on fear and guilt, and then try to push that on everybody. That's what's arrogant. Not rejecting the deity, not rejecting the guilt and the fear that they're trying to put on you. That's not arrogance. That's awakeness. The arrogance is the opposite. It's trying to push that narrative. That's what's arrogant. So again, in this world, the distorted version of God, which ends up becoming the distorted version of yourself. That's what's off. That's the only thing wrong here. Is that we don't have a clear understanding of who the Creator is, and we don't have a clear understanding of who we are in relation to that Creator. So the Matrix is once again doing what it does when it wants to control the consciousness of mankind. It tries to make them feel guilty and afraid. So they're pushing the white guilt narrative. Well, you know everything they're pushing, all the BS, all the crap. And like I said, many people that think they're awake are running back to their beliefs in their fear instead of just getting in the present moment and allowing the true spirit, the true great spirit, to come through right here in the present moment, where there's no guilt, there's no fear. It's actually the opposite of that. There's great joy, there's great power, there's great knowing to be tapped into, because I and the Spirit are one. Always have been. But we've been cycling through incarnations and bodies whose minds have been made to believe so many things. And you're not truly going to grow up. You're certainly not going to ascend. You're certainly not going to know who and what you really are until you're willing to move beyond the beliefs. So yes, call out to the Creator. Sure. If you call that prayer, fine. Pray to the Creator. There's all kinds of beings, entities, creations in between where you are as the Creator and the Creator at the source of creation. Advocates. We could call them ancestors, angels, whatever you want to picture them as. They're here to help us too. They will come and lift the burden off of your heart. They will help you clear the clutter in the mind. And they have been helping us co-create awakened humans. See, a true human is the perfect merger of spirit and matter. When it knows this, when it doesn't know this, it just thinks it's the ego. So it only sees itself as half of itself. And so, of course, you're not complete if you're only half of yourself. Right? So they've been working with us, moving humans towards the perfect merger of spirit and flesh. And the flesh does have an ego. The avatar does have an ego. Sometimes we think of having killed the ego when we have that great moment of awakening where we realize we're not the ego, we're not the avatar fully. Yes, we are in part. But the spirit, how did we forget the spirit? How did we forget the eternal part of ourselves? So we bring it back into, balance and alignment, knowing that we are the perfect merger of spirit and flesh. And though we have an ego, our ego has become a partner to the spirit. Because the ego, a lot of the ego's job, excuse me, is for the avatars. It's for the avatar. The avatar needs the ego to keep it from walking off the side of a cliff. The avatar needs the ego to become afraid when it steps in front of a bus, and so it quickly gets out of the way of the bus. Okay, that kind of fear. That kind of fear is a moment, a short time span. But what they're trying to do to us in the Matrix is get us to be afraid all the time. Because if you're afraid all the time, then you're in your ego all the time. If you're in your ego all the time, where is your spirit? Where is your knowingness? Where is your power? Off in the clouds, I guess. Somewhere other than right here in the present moment. This is, I guess we could call it an age-old tactic of the service to self egos who seek to dominate and control the collective consciousness. Well, is it going to work again? Are we going to repeat again? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what anybody else is going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to resist them. I'm going to resist their tactics. And resistance doesn't really consist of a whole lot. Because all you have to do to resist is just know that your spirit and your flesh are one perfect union of the Creator and the creation, perfectly harmonized right here in the present moment. So you have all the knowing and all the power and all the resistance needed just right there, knowing that. To leave that knowing, to go back to beliefs, you're compromised. To leave that knowing, to run fearfully to the deity, because in your mind, the deity is going to come and partake in, all kinds of stuff that the creator doesn't partake in, war, killing, politics, taking sides, all the human nonsense, all the egoic things that humans get caught up in. And so ignorant humans just project that onto God. And so the next thing you know, God's doing some of the same stupid things that humans do. But we all know that's not true. We all know that the Creator is far beyond all that kind of low density activity. And which means we can be too, because again, we are one with the Creator. If our consciousness has turned on, if remembrance has come back, and there's so much information being transmitted by nature, Mother, all these plants, all these trees, everything is the Creator manifested in a different form. And it's all communicating. It's all in harmony. It's all in balance. The question is, are we in harmony with it? Are we in balance with it? Can we decipher all these communications of Mother Earth on very subtle levels? You have to fine tune your perception. And when you do, in a really very real way, you're back in Eden. You're back in Eden. Why? Because you're back at the frequency. You're back at the harmonious vibration of Eden. And when you harmonize with Eden, then you can go to Eden. You can be in Eden. You're not prevented from getting there. The only thing that prevents us from getting there is a low vibration Stemming from what? Beliefs. Wrong beliefs. Falsities that you think are real. As long as we believe falsehoods are real, you're going to co-create that then. All the people running in fear back to the deity, the tyrant of the Old Testament, the judgmental one, the blood sacrifice one, the one that came up with all this nonsense. They're just hoops for man to jump through so that man believes something. And with all of those beliefs he acquires, he still does not know anything. Because if you don't know yourself, you really don't know anything. That's the first thing we should know in this realm. Wouldn't that be the first thing you would want to know? If you showed up in a realm and became self-aware and self-conscious, wouldn't you want to know, who am I? And we're living in a world where the answer to who am I has been given to us externally in all these different forms of beliefs. Some of them being half-truths, which got you close. That's why a lot of the people that are believers think themselves awake. But you're still trying to relate to an external entity that's way off out there somewhere, not knowing that you are that entity in the flesh, and that everything out there is coming through you. So whatever you would find out there would just be you. So this could totally undo you. This could totally undo that twisted belief that they've implanted in everybody. Especially, in the West. So, this is recap. But isn't this the time to go over stuff that, we're being tested with? We're being tested with these things right now. Are you going to become fearful? Are you going to resort to going backwards? Are you going to fall upon beliefs? Or are you going to fall upon knowing? If you fall upon beliefs, you're going to fall down the left-hand path. If you fall upon your knowing, you're going to fall upon the right-hand path. And if you already have been knowing, you're going to fall upon Eden. And just to simplify what Eden is, to me at least, it's the real version of life and the world. It's the real version of life and the world, because this version we're in right now is not the real version. This is a simulation of the real version, preparing you to go to the real version. if you can awaken and ascend. If you can get back to that center place of knowingness that you and the Creator are one, and you always have been. You just forgot that. And when you woke up from your sleep, having forgotten that, they had all these stories waiting for you, all these beliefs waiting for you. And it's taken us generations to slog through all that to get back to here. And now we finally have a collective consciousness that's coming to know what people individually have known, the people that woke up. The people that woke up to knowingness of we are the Creator in human form. Just like that plant is the Creator in plant form. And this iris is the Creator in iris form. And this squirrel, if it was real, is the Creator in squirrel form. And we're all one and we're all interconnected. The squirrel is my brothers and sisters. And on another level, this plant is my brothers and sisters. Just like you listening are my brothers and sisters. Because we're all connected. So we can either go forward in wholeness or go forward in division. The choice is yours, the choice is ours. You're going to manifest the timeline of your choosing. During the split, during the event. And this is probably, one of the most beautiful moments of all time. The culmination of what's happening right now. It has taken thousands and thousands of years and many, many, many lifetimes, many lessons, many dimensions, many densities, many experiences. You've been the plant, you've been the iris, you've been the squirrel. It is a privilege and an honor to be in human form, especially if you're awakened. And I know that you that are awakened know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave it there, my friends. Love, unity, and light, as always, my beautiful friends and family. Until next time.